time now.
Verizon says it's 6 o'clock. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Cameron, you say prayer, please.
Let us bow. Dear Lord, thank you today, Lord, for bringing us here together. I pray, Lord, that you would just lead and guide this body, Lord, today. Thank you for all of us and our health and our ability to be here. Pray that you would lead and guide our decisions. And I pray that you would just help us to hear what you want for us. Help us to lead this town in the best way that we can. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Main standing will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And before I go any further, I should have said this to begin with. Is there a sign-up sheet? If you want to speak to anything that's on this agenda, you can sign up. Other than that, you won't be able to speak on this meeting tonight. Okay. All right. Ms. Kelly, would you call the roll, please?
Albert,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Porter,
Here.
Staples,
Here.
Jones, Lee.
Here. Let the record reflect we do have enough to, we have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. And there's one item on here we're going to want to remove. Is that right, Kelly? The last item on the agenda, which is the resolution of amend subdivision regs horizontal property regime, that will be done by zoning and planning and zoning, right?
We do the ordinance, they'll do the
Yeah.
resolution.
So I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda with taking that off the agenda.
I make a motion that we adopt the agenda with the change that has been made on the resolution regarding horizontal property regime.
I'll get a second.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Staples and seconded by Councilman Calvert. Is there any discussion on it? Hearing none, all signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. Next item is the minutes from 5/15/25.
Make a motion to approve said minutes of 5/15/25.
I'll second that motion.
Let the record reflect that Councilman Brown made the motion to approve the minutes and seconded by Councilman Staples. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. We had no public comments for the agenda, so at this time, Ms. Kelly, show at 6:04, I opened up the public hearing for the annexation. And it just barely was 6:04, so it's 6:05 now. I'm gonna close the public hearing at 6:05. All right. The next item on the agenda is the second reading of resolution R042025-1, annexation of the property at 6631 Highway 31E, which is the Creasy House.
Motion to approve the annexation of 6631 Highway 31E.
Second that motion.
Motion's been made by Councilman Calvert to approve the second reading on annexation and seconded by Councilman Staples. Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Brown,
Call the
Yes.
vote.
Borders,
Yes.
Staples.
Yes.
Calvert.
Yes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. The next item is the second reading of ordinance 0052-025-1, 2025-2026 budget. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Motion to approve ordinance 0052-025-1 for the budget.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Who seconded?
Go ahead.
I'll second it.
Let the record reflect that Councilman Calvert made the motion and a second by Councilman Brown. Is there any discussion on this?
Did everybody get the updated email I sent yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
I was just about to ask, that was the one you sent yesterday, right? There hasn't been one since then?
No.
Okay.
Okay, hearing no discussion, call for the vote, please.
Borders,
Yes.
Staples,
Yes.
Calvert,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. The next item is the second reading, ordinance 0052-025-2, 2024-2025 budget amendments. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 0052-025-2.
I second that motion.
Let the record reflect that Councilman Brown made the motion, and second by Councilman Borders. Is any discussion on this? I think we went over all the amendments in the work study. Hearing none, Ms. Kelly, call for the vote.
Staples,
Yes.
Calvert,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Borders.
Yes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. We'll move on now to new business, and this is the capacity fee. This is ordinance 0062-025-3, an amendment to ordinance 0032-025-3. And I'll entertain a motion for the amendment.
This budget, or the agenda says -2, 0062025-2. Ordinance. Oh, that's training fee,
Yeah.
capacity fee.
This is, yeah, that's right above that. She didn't have those numbers in there, those orders numbers, but she gave them to me, so I wrote them down
Oh,
on my
okay, okay.
Okay.
copy. Sorry about that. I'll entertain a motion. And that's to lower the capacity fees to 2,000 to 2,000.
So we can discuss, I'll make a motion to begin discussion of capacity fees.
Motion been made
Second.
and seconded. Motion made by Councilman Brown, seconded by Councilman Calvert. Any discussion?
Yeah. I need to refresh my memory, but there was some discussion during the work study about the capacity fees. I don't remember us discussing what that fee was to this amendment of something that we already approved of once before. Can someone remind me of what we decided on that?
No, I believe we did decide on, y'all
We
did
did?
decide on two.
What it was is we had it at 3,500, and then I think Aaron met with a guy that he suggested and said that 2,000 would probably be more in line with what we need to do, considering we've just started it, and we kind of had the discussion, decided that it might be a little bit steep to start with, that we was going to start at 2,000 so that we can ease into it instead of just starting high and scaring everybody away.
Yeah, 2,000 for water and 2,000
Yeah,
for
correct.
sewer, it'd be 4 altogether.
Correct.
So that was Jackson Thornton, the
Yeah.
one that's doing the rate study, the one I spoke with. And they also said that if you drop it like that, that they recommended putting in there that it be raised 500 per year until you get to the amount that you originally had set.
I guess I would not be in agreement with putting a $500 limit on what we raise each year until we get there. I think that
That would be just a suggestion from
could be
board.
determined, but
That'd be just a
Right.
Just
suggestion.
something that we discuss later
Yeah,
in a year after we've kind of had a feel of what it's gonna do.
And also, we've got to take this money and put it in a separate account and state what it's going toward.
Right.
Separate line item.
Do what?
A separate line item.
But it's got to be in a separate account also at the bank.
Oh, okay.
So this money's got to go to the bank and put it in an account.
Yeah, this is only for future improvements of the system.
To keep it from accidentally being,
Used upon something else.
right, right.
All right, any more discussion?
when we originally made the decision on the amount that it is currently, we talked about waiting 6 months. And we're a month and a half into it and changing our minds. I'm still of the opinion that we should wait the 6 months.
Okay.
Well, so I agree with that, other than the fact that I'm the one that, I wanted this to be 2,000 to begin with. Because I don't like the fact that we've already passed it. And we've heard rumors of a contractor saying, oh, I'm no longer gonna build because we created this capacity fee, we set this capacity fee higher than what he was wanting. And then we backslide and backtrack. I do have an issue with that. I think that just makes us look weak. If we set something up and we do it, then we should be behind it. I struggle with the fact of changing this, but also struggle with the fact that it was already, and I voted for it at the time. But also realize that, and I'll say this again, that if we don't consider the fact that when we put these capacity fees in place, we're not promoting building anymore. We're not promoting growth. We're separating ourselves from that. And so I'm struggling right now just to even want to even talk about this, because we already had it. It's already in place. I don't like to backtrack and say, oh, okay, I hear your threats. Okay, let me back off, because now who's going to do that to us next time we decide to implement something? I have a problem with this. Yes, I know it should have been this amount to begin with, but now I'm struggling with it because this makes us look weak.
It's gonna make us look pretty weak, I feel, if we have a bunch of building come in and we don't have enough money to make the purchase of the expansion of a wastewater treatment plant, and we have to put a moratorium on issuing building permits because there's no money to build and make the expansion on the wastewater treatment plant either. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. You either have to have the funds available to build the new wastewater treatment plant, or you make the moratorium, and that will put a dead stop on any growth.
I think everybody is good with it being raised from year to year to get it up to that point. I don't want to hurt our local contractors by having it up there at such a high amount that they can't afford it. Anything else? Ms.
So
Kent?
so just to be clear,
Yeah.
what we're voting on is 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
Okay.
First
Yep.
reading.
First reading. All right, call for the vote.
Calvert,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Borders,
Yes.
Staples.
No.
Let the record reflect it passed 3-1 on the first reading. Next item is the Municipality Court Training Fees, Fee Change Ordinance 0062025-2. And this is be the first reading on this. And it's in your packet. We discussed it at work study, and it's, state
State went up $1.
state went up $1, so we're gonna have to go up. And where was it, Kelly, in here?
It should be right behind the budget amendments.
Okay. There it is, right there. We're going up to, we was, what is it, 140, going to 141. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I make a motion that we approve first reading
First reading.
of ordinance O062025-2.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Staples, second by Councilman Borders. Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Borders,
Yes.
Staples,
Yes.
Calvert.
Yes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. Next item is to award the bid for the sewer plant station roofs. And that bid was, refresh me there, Aaron.
So for the roof, it was 31,000, just right at 31,000.
Per station.
Per station.
And that was to,
That's to frame up,
what contractor?
that was JBL.
JBL, that's the only bid we got, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for that. to award
$31,900.
$31,900.
I make a motion that we award the bid for sewer station roof repair to JBL.
A second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Staples and seconded by Councilman Calvert. Is there any discussion on this?
Are we
So,
approving one roof at the time, or are we approving all 4 pump stations?
I would prefer to do all 4 if possible, but I did it as one per building in case we couldn't do it that way, but they all 4 needed.
And I know that bid sounds a little bit high for just to replace the roof, but there's a lot of mechanical, and Mr. Staples probably can attest to this, there's a lot of stuff that has to be cut out for, several different pipes, and
It's really not that expensive.
do what?
It's really not that expensive. Not when you think about what they gotta do.
Yeah.
We just need an amendment.
Yeah, do we have the funds to do all 4 roofs?
I'm sorry, the amendment to the motion, just to state whether it's for 1 or 4, whenever you decide.
Do what now?
so two different things. Obern's asking whether or not we have the funds to do all 4
Yeah,
at once.
gotcha.
She's just simply reminding us that we need to amend it so that it's clear that we're doing either one or all of them all at the same
Oh,
time.
okay.
In
All
your
right.
motion, in your motion.
So that's $120,000 plus $124,000 right off the get-go out of our budget for the year.
And I was hoping to be able to get it out of this current budget, but the way time and everything goes, I know it's not going to be possible because we had the money in there for that, as far as we're going to be able to get it. But,
Well, that money isn't gonna go away.
so, Yeah, you can do it. I would prefer to take it out of this current budget instead of
Next year's.
next year's.
And we've got enough in there to do all four of them, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Because otherwise it goes to prior year fund balance this coming fiscal year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think really you'd be doing the same thing, you'd just be waiting, I believe. Because even then, you could still reappropriate the money and then turn around and use it, but you could go ahead and do it now since we're in the current budget year. Unless y'all have closed out, I don't figure you have.
No.
So, I mean,
Does that require another amendment to
I don't
this year's
think-
budget?
no, we
Because the
won't.
money's already there, right?
We just have to put that it's for all four of them.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say go ahead, they're all leaking. I mean, I know the work study, Aaron was adamant and very clear on how a serious situation and a safety issue that these pump stations were, of how much water dumps in them. and
yeah, it's
that
not
there's-
just a drip, it's like running.
No,
down
we're
the
talking
wall.
about, and everybody needs to know, we're talking about a serious leak that is within a lot of electrical current. And I wouldn't want that in my, in any structure that I had to go into and out of, stepping in and out of, and for the safety of them, I think this is money that should be spent to keep our guys safe. I wouldn't want anybody to be put in that kind of danger.
And another thing is degrading where it comes down the wall, it's degrading
Right.
the con.
It's only gonna
Blocks,
get, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, water's not good when you don't want it to be in a place where you don't want it to be. It's just not good.
All right. So just to be clear, we're awarding the bid to
JBL.
JBL, and that's for all four, right?
So we need an amendment. You want to amend?
No, there won't be no amendment on that, 'cause
It was just discussion. If it was one or four,
We just have to
maybe
change
we
the
need
motion
to, maybe
say-
we need to make the motion that it's for all four
Yeah.
roofs. That's fine.
Yeah.
We can,
okay.
I'll make a motion that this,
Do we have to amend that motion, just add to it?
You need to amend the motion.
Okay.
that we amend the motion to approve the sewer roofs,
And this,
sewers lift station roof to all four buildings.
okay. I'll get a second to that amendment.
I'll say.
All right. Motion, do for Cameron.
Yep.
Motion's been made to amend by Councilman Staples, second by Councilman Calvert. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, call for the vote, Ms. Kelly.
Borders,
Yes.
Staples,
Yes.
Calvert,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. And we need to go back to the original motion. And is there any more to award the bids to J and A? JBL. Is there any more discussion on that? Call for the vote, please.
Staples,
Yes.
Calvert,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Borders.
Yes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. Award a bid to the same person, ain't it? To repair the rock building repair, that's right behind us, and that bid was
$46,567.30.
$46,000.
$567.30.
Okay. I get a motion for that.
I'll make the motion to award the bid to JBL for the rock building repairs.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brown to award the bids to JVL, second by Councilman Staples. Is there any discussion on this?
Aaron, did they detail out what, I mean, I know they're gonna have to, maybe you haven't told us, I know that they were gonna have to repair the windows. Are they gonna have to do a foundation lift or anything like that?
On the back wall, it'll all have to be torn off, and they'll redo the foundation, and then they'll rebuild the back wall. And they're gonna replace all the windows in the back part back there.
Okay, it seems like I remembered you saying that, but I just want to
make sure I understand.
Now, that's not the same bid that includes the cleaning of this building?
Yes.
Or does that include the cleaning of this building and the,
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, that's right, the pressure washing, you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, so it'd be pressure washing this entire building, resealing all the block on the back of the building, where it's got cracks and stuff in the mortar and stuff over time. Fixing the first bay door right here, where the lintel is broke on the top. That's repairing it, replacing that back wall, and repainting the whole back side of the building. So it'd be pretty much giving the whole building a facelift, minus doing these windows.
I meant to ask, was that door included also, that very back door right behind us into the
The exit door,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a small walk-through
Yeah.
door. I know they'll have to tear it out. I can't remember if they're gonna replace it or just reuse the door that's there, but I know they'll have to take it down. I'm thinking they're gonna replace it, but I can't say exactly. I can't remember.
It needs to be, we can kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need to do whatever else we talked about, but we need to do that as well. When they cross that bridge, when they,
are you talking about the door that used to be between this room?
No, no, no.
No, no, it's
no,
on
the very,
outside.
the very back outside door.
Outside
It's
door,
got a
okay.
screen door on it, and then it's unsecured pretty much the entire
It's in
time.
bad shape.
Yeah,
I'll double check with him on that.
yeah.
All right, any more discussion on this? Ms. Kelly, call vote, please.
Calvert,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Borders,
Yes.
Staples.
Yes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. And the other item on the agenda is the ordinance, would be the first reading of ordinance 00622025-1, amendment zoning ordinance, horizontal property regime. And we discussed this in work study. And I get a motion to do the first reading on it.
I make a motion that we approve first reading of ordinance 062025-1 for amending the zoning ordinance horizontal property regime.
Second.
Let the record reflect it. Motion was made by Councilman Staples, second by Councilman Borders. Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Borders,
Yes.
Staples.
Yes.
Calvert.
Yes.
Let the record reflect it passed unanimously. That last item we took off the agenda, so that's the last item. Now entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Brown to adjourn, and that motion is not debatable. Thank you very much.